Hey, what you're about to see is slow motion capture shadowboxing from Fighter of the Year in 2001, Thongchai Tor Silachai. This comes from a more than 1 hour Muay Thai Library session that we did with Thongchai. It's absolutely incredible. He has a Muay Book Dern low kick style, and just his incredible balance in this slow motion is one of my favorite things that we've ever filmed, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, so Kevin and I like to capture slow motion, shadow, or kicking the bag of legends, and fucking hell, Thongchai delivers. One, this is his I work the field body. But two, in slow motion, you can really see his constant balance, the way all of his weapons kind of lead into each other and flow from each other, and then how protected he is in his roop all the time. Look at his shoulder. His head is like tucked down. He's someone who puts his knee on the outside of his elbow on his block in shadow. I don't know if he does that when he's actually blocking. I've never really seen this before. It's never been taught to me before. The opposite has been taught every single time. But when Kevin asked me about this, because he noticed it too, I suspect that the reason his knee comes to the outside of his elbow on that block is because as a puncher, his guard is so, his elbows are so tucked in all the time. See how the shin like unhinges? It's like it has a joint in it, but it's not like a, I don't know other sports, so I don't know if it's karate or taekwondo where you kind of flick. It's not a flick, but it is hinged. Even his teeth, the knee comes up first and then there's like an extension. God, his knee comes up almost like to his outer tricep on those blocks. Oh, slow motion shoulder pop. See how his hands are relaxed? He's even got a little bit of a grimace because he's like seeing his opponent. Hands relaxed, bladed a little bit. If you just watch his, what do you call it, like the posterior chain, like you literally just watch the line of his back down to his hips and the back of his hamstring, he's so still or consistent on his back. His chin was totally tucked on that elbow. Oh, fuck. See his hands touching, I'm gonna cry. His hands touching there as they were moving. He's grabbing in the clinch now. He's shadowing clinch and pulling. I don't know why that finger's touching is like making me very emotional. It's very beautiful. Oh, it's like big step, but perfectly balanced because of the relationship between his front leg and his back leg. He's never off balance, ever. See how when he comes down, he's totally already throwing his next. With power. Like nothing is like, oh, I kind of can throw that because I'm like just throwing it as I'm coming back. Oh, look at the muscles and lines of his neck and his shoulder. He must have like a home gym or something. That's not just from working the field. Farmer strong though is totally a thing. These like bounces between things to relax. The way his shoulder comes forward first and then the uppercut comes after, or the hook comes after, this is totally like how the knee comes first and then the shin clashes after. He had like a 28-year career or something. I can imagine how much shadowboxing he did, like how much hitting the bag he did, how much sparring he did. See how soft his hand is? He's like, but it's got an abruptness on the end. Like it's got a fucking like chunk at the end. Oh. Thongchai is kind of a, I wouldn't say he's shy, but he's definitely an introvert. He has a confidence about him that reminds me a little bit of like Lak Hin. Maybe he's not quite as gregarious as Sagat, but he's got this introverted thing, and you can see in his focus, like he's looking at kind of nothing. He's not staring at the floor, but he's not like watching in front of him. He's a little bit internal, and yet he is clearly picturing in front of him what all of this does. Like when he's thinking of a block, and the block and then the knee, he's not thinking of moves to do. He's actually interacting with a sight picture in his head, which is so important in shadowboxing, to actually picture a person in front of you. And he does it internally. This is very inspirational to me. I'm very introverted. I don't like to look at people or myself or whatever. So like looking in a mirror when you're shadowboxing, or like looking at things in front of you to picture a person in front of you. You can picture a person in front of you with the kind of soft eyes that he's doing here. His shadow is some of the most beautiful we've ever captured. Look at the fucking balance. Hey, So that's just an excerpt of the slow motion capture. We actually have a longer version of this that's in the full Muay Thai Library session with Thongchai Tor Silachai. There's also more than 170 hours of long-form instruction from various crews and legends, preserving the legacy of Muay Thai in Thailand. Tons to learn. You can go down the rabbit hole. If you're not yet a patron, you can easily become one by clicking on the link in the description below. $10 gets you access to the full Muay Thai library, which is, again, more than 170 hours of long-form instruction. So I hope you guys enjoy and get into it.